Barbados' fastest 4G network.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, the long-awaited Hyatt-centric resort is one step closer to being a reality. Earlier today, principals to the $100 million project signed the paperwork to cement the agreement. One of the directors of the Barbadian company involved, Mark Maloney, told a media conference the property will feature 232 2- and 3-bedroom rooms, 30 condominiums and other amenities. The groundbreaking will take place in September. Mr. Maloney says during the construction phase, as many as 300 Barbadians will be employed, and that number is expected to increase significantly once the project is completed.
An internal design team made up of architects, engineers, mechanical and electrical, interior design and landscaping, but all supported by local architects, engineers, landscape architects, interior designs, and the artisan team. It's always our intention to use locals. In fact, it's going to be a locally inspired hotel, so a lot of the arts and crafts and design that goes into the interior design side of it is going to be inspired locally.
And Hyatt's Senior Vice President, Pat McCudden, says the chain has properties in 53 countries and Barbados will benefit from the intensive marketing already in place for these locations. He also explains how the local workforce will benefit.
The focus of our company is to hire people from where we're operating and to train them and actually have them grow within our company. It's a very important tenet of our philosophy. I think, as Mark said initially, what you would generally do is you would bring in expatriates at the senior management level, and maybe at the highest management level, and then you would try to basically promote people as time passes, and people, and you train people. You want to basically be able to promote from within, promote locally.
Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says the Hyatt project was not offered any special concessions to set up in Barbados. He told the media principals for the project applied only for the usual incentives offered in such circumstances like income tax.
Of course, once operational, would be entitled to the concessions that are under the Tourism Development Act, TDAA. It is not will not be a replica of what was done with Sandals. It's entirely different. There's no MOU with the government or anything of that nature. This is a traditional foreign direct investment, which we do with many properties, both in terms of hotel, resorts, villa, construction projects.
Barbadians are again facing restrictions on water usage. This, as reduced rainfall continues to result in water shortages, especially in northern districts. The new notice from the Barbados Water Authority will take effect from August 1st and run until October 31st. Shane Seeley tells us more.
Under the new water prohibition notice issued by the Barbados Water Authority, people are not allowed to use, cause or permit to be used for any prohibited purpose any water supplied or obtained from the pipes of the BWA. The restrictions mean that you are not allowed to use the BWA's water supply for irrigation or watering of gardens, lawns or grounds. Water from the BWA should also not be used to fill or supply tanks, ponds, baths or swimming pools. Also prohibited is using a hose to wash roadways, pavements, paths, gardens, outrooms or vehicles, as well as washing windows and building exteriors. The exceptions under this water use policy include dipping tanks for cattle, domestic baths not exceeding 120 liters in capacity, and elevated reserve tanks not exceeding 800 liters in capacity, and connected to household sewerage or water supply systems. The public is further advised that it is an offence for any person to contravene the prohibition notice. Failure to comply could mean that you would be liable on summary conviction to a fine of $500 or 1 month imprisonment. The previous water prohibition notice issued by the BWA took effect from March 1st and ended on May 31st. Shane Seeley, CBC News.
The usual stillness at September Square and Hart's Gap in St. Michael was shattered this afternoon by the deafening sounds of gunshots. By the time the gunfire subsided, a man had been shot by police. When a CBC News team arrived on the scene, several police vehicles lined the square. According to residents, the shooting happened around 4 in the afternoon. CBC News understands that the incident took place during a confrontation between a wanted man and police following a search warrant at a house in 4th Avenue, Hart's Gap. An ambulance took the injured man to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, but he died around 5 while undergoing treatment for his injuries. Up to news time, police had not yet notified the family of the dead man, after which they will officially reveal his identity. They are treating the situation as a very sensitive one. A warning: Barbados must act faster when pulling recalled products from the shelves of supermarkets. The warning comes from Director of Global Food Traceability Center for the Institute of Food Technologies, Tejas Bhatt. He says training people in the area of food traceability is critical. He was speaking to media this morning during a regional traceability workshop, which is aimed at retooling agricultural health and food safety systems.
Food traceability is important not only for food safety reasons. If something goes wrong with the food and the consumers start falling sick, you want to quickly identify what the problem is. And without traceability, you cannot trace back where the problem occurred. As you may know, we have a lot of global food import and export. Not everything that's consumed in Barbados is produced in Barbados. So tracing back the problem is very important, and doing it quickly is important because you're trying to save public lives.
If Barbadians can honor the soldiers of the First and Second World Wars, they can do the same for the labor fighters of the 1930s. This is the view of opposition leader Mia Mottley during her address to the commemorative flower-laying ceremony to mark the day of national significance for those who fought in the riots. A moderate crowd came out to Golden Square in the city, which is lauded as the starting point for the rebellion. Ms. Mottley says the blatant lack of education about and celebrations for the fighters needs urgent correction, as it is critical to the emancipation of Barbadian minds.
Those who lost their lives in the riots of 1937, and those who didn't lose their lives but who fought against injustice and oppression and deprivation, will not have the honor of those officers associating with what has been officially designated by Cabinet as a day of national significance.
Assistant General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Orlando Gabby Scott, said apart from Clement Payne, other leaders of the revolt like Israel Lovell and Ulrich Grant do not get the recognition they deserve.
If Payne has been accorded national prominence, why has officialdom discarded Chase, Lovell, Grant and Arlene? We in Barbados at all levels appear still to be treating the heroes of the 1937 disturbances as low-level rabble-rousers in just the same way the establishment treated them back in 1937.
Coming up, we'll talk live with the Director of Cricket at the BCA about the Sir Gary 80 not-out celebrations. Stay with us.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 # to sign up to Digicel today.
ICBL T20 cricket party. More than a match. Sagari's 80th birthday. Celebrating the greatest all-rounder and our national hero. You can't beat that. July 28th, 6:30 p.m. Tickets from Kensington Oval, CS Pharmacy, and TicketPal.com. Hosted by the 50th Anniversary Secretariat.
On Saturday, July 30th, we meet at the Oval for the MQI Mountgate Pickety Crop Finals. Aziza, Colin Spencer, Donella, Adonijah, Adrian Clark, Crystal Cummins-Beckles, IWeb, TC, and Mr. Blood are all ready to challenge 2015 Calypso Monarch Classic. Early bird grounds ticket, $45. Regular tickets, $55. Early bird 3Ws, $60, or pay more at the door. MQI Mountgate Pickety Crop Finals. Saturday, 30th July, Kensington Oval. Visit www.ncf.bb for more information.
Well, it's just one more day to go before the highly anticipated Sir Gary 80 Not Out celebrations. Sir Gary is Barbados' only living national hero and has been regarded as the greatest cricketer the world has ever seen. His birthday is on Thursday, and joining us live to talk about what's in store is Director of Cricket at the BCA, Stephen Leslie. Welcome, Stephen.
Hi, good evening.
So tell us first, how are preparations going for the cricket match?
We are very well advanced. We've done a lot of work in the last 4 months or so. Sir Gary actually getting on to the opportunity to reach 80 is a landmark in itself, and we actually partnered with the 50th Anniversary Celebration Committee. We've got a lot of persons who will be able to work through the whole dynamics, and we've worked very well in terms of being able to pull together a cultural show and cricket match that will be feature Sir Gary and celebrate the true legend that he is.
So what can we expect of the cultural show?
Yes, well, the gates actually open at 5 p.m. and what will happen is that at 6 p.m. there will be a start of the cultural show where we will have a video loop. We'll go for half an hour into actually toss. So Gary will go from actually having that toss with the captains in Sir Carol Hooper and Brian Lara. Then they would recede into the pavilion, and then from there you will have a cricket match. So patrons who are actually coming to Kensington will see the cricket match in T20 format, which is the most popular format you have now, and that will happen for just about an hour or so. And then what will happen, you will have a break. Cultural show begins again at intermission, which is around 9 o'clock. The second innings of the match is actually played, and then after that you'll have a huge Monarchs and a huge show put together by the NCF following the game.
Oh, sounds fantastic. So what has the response been like by Barbadians, and do we have an indication that people are coming from overseas for this event?
Well, certainly we've done quite well in terms of the numbers, but we're still encouraging everyone to come out. Tickets are $20 Barbados for the Greenwich and Haynes stand. It goes to 30 Barbados for the 3Ws, and then there's a party stand, $50 Barbados, which $20 is redeemable in drinks. And right now the numbers look quite good. I think that what Barbadians are going to do, because what Sir Gary did transcends all eras, I think that they'll be able to come out and celebrate Sir Gary, and we hope to have a stadium which is filled come Thursday night.
Any indication though that you have people from overseas coming?
Oh yeah, certainly we have in Barbados quite a few persons who are actually here for the crop over season. There are persons who are visiting the Barbados Cricket Association and Comey, where the tickets are actually being sold, and you see a great interest in the actual activity. And what happens at Kensington Oval during the normal scheme of things is that anytime they get an idea that Sir Gary is actually on the compound, you have persons who actually come out and they're very much in a craze to be there with Sir Gary. And now we're celebrating his 80th year. We want a situation where those tourists are now able to actually purchase and support that whole initiative.
All right, quickly tell me who are some of the marquee names who will be coming in for the match.
Well, we have Brian Lara, who will be captain one of the sides. Sir Curtly Ambrose will be here. Courtney Walsh will be here as well. We've got Sir Carl Hooper. We have from the South African team Mike Proctor, who would have played for South Africa back in the day. And we also have certainly Tatenda Taibu, who is from Zimbabwe. So those are the general names, and then we have the local element. We got some young talent which will be on display for Barbadians to see. And the two females in Shamila Connell and Shaquana Quinton. Those two ladies were part of the victorious West Indies women's team that won the World Cup recently.
Thank you very much, Stephen Leslie, Director of Cricket at the BCA. We're certainly looking forward to that match.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Encouraging everyone to come out.
Thanks, Stephen. All trade unions have been told to ignore public criticism and concentrate more on representing the plight of workers, especially in trying economic times. This advice from historian and principal of Queen's College School, Dr. David Brown. He says failure to do so puts unions in the realm of becoming irrelevant once the economy starts to improve. Mr. Brown says there are many people who would like to see the labor union movement crumble under the strain of social pressures to ensure that workers remain subdued. He made the comment as part of the Barbados Workers Union's 75th anniversary lecture series at Solidarity House.
The trade union must fashion itself to survive in this global crisis. So it must transform, but it cannot disappear. And there are some people who would like to destroy it. They would like to destroy it and go back to the 1930s. If you think, I always say to people that Haiti abolished slavery and Napoleon come and reinstitute slavery, you think that people won't put in slavery again? They would do it. And I don't mean slavery if it chains, slavery in another form.
Dr. Brown says labor unions need to start diversifying and getting involved in more aspects of business.
If there's a time where trade union is relevant, it is now. Relevant is now. And don't let anybody make you irrelevant. But that happens. So that I would want to see more business unionism. That would be important. Getting in the development of credit unions, bringing workers, because while the workers never had any stake in any business or anything, the unions got to take their own house in development, right? So I think what Ambassador Morris got that night for you is that, like, it is not only collective bargaining, it is not only a strike, it is not only friction with employers and such like, but business unionism and other things must take center stage.
The tradition of Barbadians overseas sending money to loved ones at home is just one of the many ways the diaspora has contributed and kept connected to Barbados. Tonight, Kent Gerson puts that in focus as we get closer to the Barbados Network consultation scheduled for August 3rd to 5th at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center.
For generations, a priority for many Barbadians who migrated was sending money home to relatives and friends in Barbados. Prime Minister Frandel Stewart alluded to those remittances when he recently attended the annual spring gathering of the Barbados Association of Tampa Bay.
And that is what people in our diaspora have been doing wherever they've gone, contributing to the societies in which they live, keeping the flame of Barbados alight, and contributing by their remittances and by their interactions with what is happening at home.
Those remittances amounted to millions of dollars annually, but the figures are declining, a point noted by the president of the Barbados Association of Tampa Bay, Henderson Griffith.
We've discussed how do you replace over $100 million a year coming into Barbados, as it continues to decline at a more rapid rate.
He suggested this trend can be reversed, since the remittances basically come from the export of Barbadian skills, talents, and expertise.
Take a group of current generation Barbadians living in Barbados and try to get them in the international market, maybe under some kind of a training program, in some kind of an exchange program, or some program where they'll now be resident in the United States, Canada, or where, and they'll start sending money back home again in foreign currency. But that's one way to look at it and try to remedy the situation.
A suggestion like this one and others are likely to be discussed at the Barbados Network Consultation 2016, where Barbadians from all over the world will gather to talk about the best way to take this country forward. But it should also be remembered that Barbadians benefit beyond the remittances to families and friends. The diaspora also provides opportunities for Barbadians at home to make money wherever there is a Bajan contingent in another country. Just ask Stetson Red Plastic Bag Wiltshire, who was also in Tampa.
I'm quite connected to the diaspora from the standpoint of performing with for the diaspora all over the United States and all over North America and all over the UK, especially to the Caribbean as well. I have a very strong connection to the diaspora.
It's that connection between Barbadians here and abroad that the Barbados Network Consultation 2016 intends to strengthen. And all efforts are being made to ensure this is done through an interactive and meaningful conference. Kent Jerson, CBC News.
Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. Stay with us.
No need to worry over back-to-school expenses. Get a loan from Axel Finance for back to school and you can win great stuff for your kid in the Axel Finance School for back-to-school promotion. You can win a cool $3,000 cash to help with school fees, books, uniforms, school meals, and more. Plus, a really cool and awesome Windows Surface tablet. Sweet! Get your express loan or microbiz loan today. Call Axel Finance today at 228-8222. Terms and conditions apply.
Peoples, we store just got even better. Come on in. Come down to the new renovated People's Market in Tudor Bridge with bigger aisles and even more in store. All your general grocery needs. A whole new fruits and vegetables section. Beer, wine and liquor. A wide selection of meat and fish. And everything for your outdoor chilling and barbecue grilling. But most of all, everything at low prices. Right, Miss Evans?
That's right, Ma. And now we have the People's Mall too.
Peoples, come on down to the People's Market in Tudor Bridge.
Governments across the Caribbean are being encouraged to invest more in cardiovascular care. This comes from Vice President of the Caribbean Cardiology Society, Dr. Richard Ishmael. He was speaking during the first day of the Society's conference. Dr. Ishmael believes all patients need to have access to cardiology care, and therefore governments should invest in order to make it more widely available.
I think that cardiovascular care is best done or most done in the private sector, and I think that governments need really to come on board and invest in the technology and so on to be able to allow all Caribbean people to have access to high-end cardiac care.
And President of the Society, Dr. Henry Stewart, says the issue of health is also political.
Meaning to say that you'll have to make the right political decisions to have a community that is safe, that has good schooling, has the basic things necessary to prevent cardiovascular disease. And if we don't start early on, we'll be paying, as a community, we'll be paying very dearly, because we'll be only looking for expensive interventions. You'll be hearing, this is too costly, medicine is too costly.
In Guyana, 3 men are being sought by the police in connection with a multi-million-dollar heist allegedly committed on a Sheriff Street jewelry store. Javon Vickery has the story.
Police say that around 2300 hours Saturday night, 3 armed bandits invaded the Sanjay's jewelry store on Sheriff Street and stole over 300 million Guyana dollars in cash and jewelry. The owner of the establishment, Bishnarain Sanjay Prasad, reportedly told investigators that he was approached by the 3 thieves while in the store, tied up, beaten, and then merely watched while the men left with the loot. He further claimed that he made several failed attempts to alert the police on 911. Nightly News observed on Monday that the door to the store was locked from within. Security personnel on 2 occasions informed this newscast that Mr. Prasad was working closely with the police and was unable to provide any comment to the media. Meanwhile, Commander of A Division Clifton Hicken explained that the police are investigating the claim made by the business owner regarding his failed attempts to get help from the police by way of 911.
Sports news is just ahead, but first, here is a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Problems that are visible with sickle cell, anemia, jaundice, painful crisis, and small stature in some children. This tip is brought to you in association with the Hope Foundation, creating awareness of the lesser-known chosen illnesses.
Everybody's moving as one because it's celebrating as one, and that's what you love about the Olympics and sports in general. that it actually galvanizes people.
Sign up for any Flow Essentials bundle from as low as $160 per month and enjoy 3 dedicated channels to watch the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. Plus, get premium access to the Flow Rio 2016 Extra app to watch the games wherever, whenever, on the go. Don't miss the magic with Flow.
They say it takes hands to build a house, but only hearts can build a home. So, what does your heart tell you? Does it tell you velvet red or eggshell blue? Modern and sleek or breezy and cool? Whatever your heart desires for home building or home living, you can find it with us, Barbados Lumber Company.
Environmental Protection Department wants you to join with us to protect our land, air, and water. Don't be the problem, be part of the solution. Join hands with the EPD to keep Barbados clean.